Good morning, Gold Creek. My name is Jeremy. I am the music director at our Mill Creek campus, and I'm here with Tyler. Tell
Hey.
us a little bit about yourself.
I think my official title is video guy.
Yes, it's definitely guy,
Yeah,
not
so-
director, not
No,
creator, and no, it's just guy. Can
video guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
run a video for the services.
I be music guy then?
Sure,
I kind of want to be music guy now, not music director.
if it's up to me, it can be music guy.
I mean, Megan runs our website. I'm sure we can have her change that real
Yeah.
quick. Cool. So I'm the music guy, and this is the video guy.
Yep.
Today is August 20th, right? Yeah. Sound guy told me I'm good.
Yes.
See, we have guys for everything,
Mhm.
I guess. Day 232. That's really far. We've gotten a good way through this plan, and we're in Esther now, which I have not read a lot of Esther before because of how deep it is into the Old Testament.
Mhm.
But it's really cool because it's kind of like what everyone tells me marriage is like, where like the woman is the one running the show, no matter how much you think you're in charge, you know? Like it talks about in the beginning, she's speaking to the king, and there's these guys who have these plans to kill all the Jews. I think his name was Haman. That was it. He was like, he devised these plots against all the Jews. And Esther was like pleading in front of the king going, please don't do this.
Mhm.
Like, these are my people. I don't want to witness this calamity. I don't want to see things all falling apart and all of my people dying, which is like awesome move for a queen to protect her people above, some of her
Mhm.
own interests even. And the king was like, you got it, honey.
Yeah.
Which is like, I feel like that's like a lot of husbands' response, right?
Mhm.
Neither of us are married, so we
No.
don't know for sure. But like, man, I want to be like that when I'm married. I think I want to
Mhm.
be the you got it, honey guy.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think maybe the king was kind of respected her for
Mhm.
being brave enough to.
Yeah, she was willing to speak out and be like, hey, like, this isn't quite right.
Mhm.
Can we be better? And he respected that,
Yeah.
which is really cool. Yeah, Esther's super awesome.
Feminist icon.
Yes, for sure. We also got First Corinthians. We got the actual love chapter
Hmm.
that everyone talks about. Everyone talks about in weddings. And it's all about how, one, love is the most important thing in our faith. And then two, it shows how we love people and what we do to love people. And so let me find that verse. It says, love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. It's
It's a great verse.
it's awesome because it literally tells us how to love people. Bit by bit, piece by
Mhm.
piece. How do we love people? And with love being the core of our faith, of loving God and loving others, I always, when I'm reading through this verse, I like to do this little exercise that I'm going to have all of you do with us. We're going to get a little deep. Replace the word love in that verse with your name. And if you read any of those and you go, that's a little weird, that doesn't quite line up, you might be doing something a little wrong, right?
Hmm.
If I'm reading it and I go, Jeremy is patient. Sometimes I'm not. I'm probably not
Hmm.
being as loving as I can be. Or, Jeremy is kind. He doesn't envy or boast, is not arrogant or rude. Now, those are things that I've all done.
Yeah.
I've done all of those plenty of times. And so reading through this, when you put your own name in there and say, I am this and that, if you're reading it and you're like, oh gosh, I'm lying, then
Yeah.
then
Get
you're
kind
not
of
loving.
introspective about what that
Yeah,
actually reflects you or not.
yeah, exactly. And it's not for the purpose of like, hey, look at how messed up you are, because we're
Mm.
all messed up. We know it already. But it's just a good exercise to remind yourself what you can be doing to better love people and to better show people that you care and that you're showing God's love to other people,
Mhm.
So when you read that, what's one that sticks out to you that you're like, oh my gosh, no?
Let's see. I guess
Yeah, I've got it for you so you can go
Yeah.
through it.
Tyler does not boast.
That
Might
is
be.
very not true.
Might not be true.
I mean, it's funny because every time I read it, it's a different one that sticks out to me, and I'm like,
Mhm.
uh-oh.
Yeah.
And it just shows me what I need to work on, what I'm like, what's kind of going on in that moment in time of my life. When I come back to this on this day, year after year, reading the 1 year Bible, I see it and I go, huh, I did not do well on that one this year,
Mhm.
or even if it's just in passing of, reading the daily verse that comes up, or, something brings it up. And I always love to go through it and go, Jeremy is loving, patient, kind,
Mhm.
and find which one I'm not doing well and be like, okay, time to work on it.
Mhm.
The Psalm had one verse that stuck out to me really well because it perfectly lined up with that First Corinthians verse. It says, refrain from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not yourself, it tends only to evil. Because love is patient, love is kind.
Mhm.
Those are not angry things.
Mhm.
Right? And the more that we're worried about our lives, the more bad stuff that's going to happen. Worry is, money is the root of all evil, but then worry is too. It's kind of in there.
Mhm.
Worry definitely doesn't add to our positivity.
Yeah.
It stresses us out and takes us away from
Mhm.
what we're really trying to do, how we're trying to love people, right?
Yeah, I think someone once told me that worrying is like a rocking chair. Give you something to do, but it doesn't do much. You don't accomplish.
That's so
you don't
good.
accomplish much.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever get just like super worried and kind of have to stop yourself and be like, what am I worried about? Like, there's not even anything I can do about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely happens to the best of us.
It happens to me all the time.
And I think
There's that boasting.
well, yeah, but I mean, it's like, I think it's also important to keep in mind like what you're worrying about should like have impact on like your life, like
Mhm.
specifically. Like if it's not impacting like what you can do,
Yeah.
it's not really worth worrying about.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if worrying is causing you more issues than whatever you're worrying about, it's a really good sign of
Yeah,
that it's not that much
that
of a
worrying
problem.
is yeah.
And oftentimes in my life, I'm like super worried about something. I'm like, wait a sec. If this doesn't go perfectly, I'm not going to die or anything. I'm not going to lose. Like, it's
Yeah.
not going to be perfect, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Worst case scenario, it's not bad.
Yeah.
you know?
Usually the things that we're worried the most about are pretty small.
Mhm.
So they're not something to really be worrying about and causing all that extra stress over nothing.
And even like the anticipation for it can be
Mhm.
worse than it actually happening.
Exactly.
Right?
It's like getting a shot at the doctor.
Exactly.
Right? You're getting your COVID vaccine and you're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna hurt. And then they do it and you're like, that was it? Are you sure you did that?
Yeah.
You get so worried about it and then it's nothing.
Mhm.
It's just a little prick.
Exactly.
And the Proverbs also kind of comes into the same area. It says, whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble. It's kind of a nice way of saying shut up.
Yeah.
Like when we're being impatient, not kind, right? When we're not doing the fruits of love that First Corinthians says, that's when we tend to say things that cause us trouble, cause us worry, give us issues. But if we just take a moment, be patient, be kind, be loving, be a First Corinthians type of love, and then just shut up a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
It keeps us out of so much trouble. Like
Mhm.
I've had so many times where I say something impulsively and I'm like, uh-oh,
Instantly
I should
regret it.
not have
Yeah.
done that,
And also too, like people like love talking about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so like even in conversation, like it's the people that you talk to, it's more of you like them like getting it's more of like them like asking questions about you and prying questions.
Yeah.
And like when you talk to people that you're like, oh, it was a great convo. It's like, oh, I was talking most of the time, right? So
Yeah. Or it can also be the flip side. They're like, man, we had such a great conversation. I'm like, I didn't say a word.
right.
You were just telling me this, that. Oh, I went to the mall the other day. Oh, I did this, I did that, I did
Yeah.
it. And it's like, okay, cool.
Okay, thank
thanks.
you.
But I mean, yeah, every now and then it's good to just keep your mouth shut.
Mm-hmm.
Hold in the impulsive thing that you want to say that's not where your heart really is. And be that First Corinthians love. Patient, that's kind, that's caring, that endures.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
sir.
hard one. It's a very difficult one to endure all things. Yeah, I just want to encourage you today. If you're getting frustrated, if you're getting worried, just think of how you can be better loving, because that's ultimately gonna take care of all of those frustrations and worries, and it'll help keep you out of trouble. Thanks for joining us
Yeah.
today.
All right.
It's great having you. See you next time.
See you next time.